Bondo ape is a larger version of the chimpanzee, standing around 6 feet tall and weighing over 200 pounds. The locals call them lion killers. These incredible creatures live deep in the heart of the Congo, where a unique and powerful society of giant chimpanzees thrives. There was an insular gigantism that took place within this group of chimpanzees, leading to heightened aggression, a known and documented characteristic. These extraordinary creatures are remarkable not only for their size, but also for their incredible strength and intelligence. When the chimps are on patrol, it's an intensely aggressive moment, and it's wild to watch. The Bondo ape is an enormous chimpanzee that lives in one specific area of the Congo, which enables them to take down some of the fiercest predators in the wild, including lions. The Congo itself is an incredibly rich and resource-laden place, but it's also a war zone, raising questions about safety. Is it safe for us to be there? Where should we be, and where should we avoid? Despite the challenges, this giant, mysterious chimpanzee population appears to be thriving in one of the planet's most dangerous regions. Stories of these enormous apes have long been part of local folklore, handed down through generations. Known as the Bondo ape or bay ape, these creatures are said to walk on 2 feet, stand the size of a grown man, and nest on the ground like gorillas. The Bondo ape, or bili ape, was first reported in 2003 and described as a giant chimpanzee that walked on its hind legs, used tools, and lived deep in the Congo, according to local natives. They have a reputation for being lion killers and are incredibly violent. Some claim they are an entirely new species of great ape, while others believe they are a cross between chimpanzees and gorillas. What did we just discover an entirely new species? Could this be a groundbreaking moment for primate research? Join us as we uncover the secrets behind the incredible strength and intelligence of this giant chimpanzee. The first scientific reports came after unusual skulls were seen at a Belgian museum. Swiss photographer and conservationist Karl Ammann became excited about the potential discovery of a new ape species, which led him to the isolated region of northern Congo. There, local hunters shared stories of the Bondo ape, the dangerous apes known as tree beaters and lion killers, said to possess great strength and immunity to poisoned arrows. Not long after, Ammann discovered an odd skull that blended gorilla and chimpanzee traits. The mystery surrounding these apes deepened when Ammann found extraordinary, enormous fecal matter and footprints larger than those of gorillas. Ammann later visited the region with a team of international academics he had previously sent for preliminary research, working with a Cameroonian bushmeat hunter. Despite not seeing any chimpanzees, they found multiple well-worn ground nests in marshy riverbeds. They also observed a wide expanse of heathland, which provides fantastic habitat for ground-nesting birds such as nightjars, woodlarks, and Dartford warblers. These birds build their nests on the ground, offering some clues to the environment that chimpanzees inhabit. The ability to carry out fieldwork in the Congo became simpler after the end of the Second Congo War in 2003. The war, which began in August 1998, officially ended in July 2003 when the transitional government of the Democratic Republic of the Congo took power. Shelley Williams, an experimental psychologist affiliated with National Geographic, claimed to be the first scientist to witness the bili apes. Williams reportedly bought videos from one of Ammann's long-term trackers and returned them to the U.S., describing her up-close experience. She wrote that she could hear them in the trees about 10 meters away, and 4 of them rushed toward her through the brush. Despite their enormous size, they kept quiet, approaching as if they were planning to kill, but when they saw her face, they halted and vanished. Williams learned Lingala, and people in the area divided great apes into 2 categories: tree beaters, who hide in the trees to avoid poisoned arrows shot by local hunters, and lion killers, which are larger, darker, and resistant to poisoned arrows. These lion killers do not usually climb trees. During her summer journey, Williams claimed to have seen 3 different species of chimpanzees. However, in the following years, questions arose about her claims. A few years later, Dr. Cleve Hicks, a primatologist, and his colleagues spent at least 20 hours in the wild with what they believed to be the bay apes. Hicks argued that these were likely just an intriguing group of chimpanzees rather than a new species, or even a subspecies. This was verified by DNA extracted from fecal samples, which indicated the animals were, in fact, eastern chimpanzees. However, Hicks's research revealed that the chimpanzee population in Bay exhibited unique traits. For example, they had gorilla-like ridges on their skulls and built nests on the ground, unlike other chimpanzees, which typically nest in trees. These apes were also observed breaking up termite mounds and cracking open tortoise shells with rocks, using them as anvils. The termite mounds they encountered were particularly special, known as magnetic termite mounds, where the termites use the Earth's magnetic fields to build their nests. Little is known about the behavior of these chimpanzees in the Bay region, especially considering the destruction caused by multiple wars that have plagued the area in recent decades, hindering conservation efforts. So what do we know about these bili apes so far? Williams first claimed that these apes were over 5.7 feet tall, walked upright, and resembled giant chimps. Further investigations, however, found that the apes resembled the extinct Australopithecus in several ways. Williams also asserted that female bay apes do not have vaginal swellings like other chimpanzees. She claimed that these apes howled at the moon, but both Hicks and Ammon disagreed. Hicks argued that their behavior was more similar to gorillas than chimpanzees in several aspects, such as their method of constructing ground nests using interconnected branches bent down into a central bowl. These apes also built their nests on the ground, often close to tree nests. Their diet is distinctly chimpanzee-like, consisting mainly of fruits. Hicks found their behavior toward humans intriguing. The chimpanzees would come face to face with researchers, stare intently, then quietly slide away. There was little to no aggression, but also no fear. Unlike gorilla males, who would charge at hunters, there were no such stories about these chimpanzees. In 2014, Hicks observed a group far from the roads and villages. When they encountered humans, not only did they approach, but they also surrounded them with keen curiosity. Williams's claims were clarified by Hicks, who stated that apes within 20 km of highways tended to flee from humans, with adult males being the most terrified. However, the farther these apes were from the roads, the more naive and curious they became. These apes appear to be more intrigued by humans than afraid. They would circle the researchers out of sheer curiosity, coming face to face and giving longing looks. Hicks thought that the culture of these bay apes was an efficient means of problem solving. During his studies, he observed them using hard-shelled fruits and snails as food, transporting termite mounds to rocks to crack them open, and discovering a turtle that had been mostly crushed by the apes. The bay chimps also fish for ants with sticks. Unbeknownst to most, there are far more bay apes than previously thought, making up the majority of the surviving chimpanzee population in Africa. Hicks and his crew discovered chimpanzees throughout a 7,000 square kilometer area while conducting surveys. However, these apes are by no means safe. Carl Ammon, who has been studying and working to expose the illegal wildlife trade for the past 30 years, believes that most of the region has become more unruly and independent due to the lack of strong central administration. From a conservation standpoint, this is disastrous. Stay tuned, as the story is just getting interesting. A research team from the University of Amsterdam and the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology has also surveyed the region. Chimpanzees between 2004 and 2012, in the Democratic Republic of the Congo's north, in this area chimpanzee populations had never been thoroughly examined. They conducted 160 km of line transects in the Bili forest, 1,800 km of reconnaissance walks to the north, and 500 km south of the U River. They found a large population of chimpanzees. There may be a cultural connection between the northern and southern tribes based on behavioral continuity evidence, according to Thrust and C. Hicks. Their results suggest that a large and widespread population of chimpanzees inhabits the forests and savannas of northern DRC. This population may be the largest viable population of this subspecies, but it currently lacks protection. It has remained unknown to researchers until recently. The researchers discovered that there had not been a decrease in the number of chimpanzee sleeping nests since 2005 when they revisited some of these transects in 2012. Although the number of chimpanzees in this area has not decreased in the past 10 years, there are new indications that the bushmeat trade is becoming a greater danger to the population. The director of the Department of Primatology at the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology, Christoph Bach, reports that an increasing number of bushmeat carcasses and chimpanzee orphans were found in bay and nearby areas. These chimpanzees could die from the same diseases that are wiping out populations of the species elsewhere if they are not given enough protection. The researchers say that more field survey initiatives must be carried out to focus future conservation efforts where they are most needed before it's too late. It is advised that wildlife guards be placed there permanently to prevent poaching from worsening. Congo has some very distinct species of animals, and it would be a shame to see them go extinct. The Congo isn't just about deep, dark jungles. They're a vital meeting place for numerous species, which gives me an opportunity to spot wildlife that's normally hidden deep in the forest. Another mysterious chimpanzee species in Congo that will interest you is the wild bonobos. The Lako and W locations in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, or most of our knowledge about wild bonobos originates due to flooded places. Accessing the dense forest home to bonobos is pretty tricky. Yellow fever and malaria are two illnesses that pose a risk to human habitation and research. These challenges restrict the number of researchers who can study animals here. The fact that this part of Africa has experienced colonialism and war since the late 20th century is another restrictive factor. Due to political unrest, research and conservation are less important than people's safety, food, and security. Initially, bonobos were misidentified as pygmy chimpanzees and believed to be a subspecies of chimpanzees. The physical similarities between baby bonobos and chimpanzees and their close relationship are most likely what caused this mistake. However, compared to adult chimpanzees, adult bonobos are smaller. According to genetic research, chimpanzees and bonobos are different yet closely related animals. Human genetics and that of bonobos and chimpanzees are closely connected. About 98% of our genes are shared by these two species. Most people know that chimpanzees are our close cousin. They share over 98% of our DNA. But you may not know that we also have another primate cousin just as close. And there's no denying that bonobos and humans behave quite similarly when moving, sitting, and eating fruit. That's not all. Compared to ordinary chimpanzees, bonobos have longer limbs, darker faces, pinker lips, tail tips that remain until adulthood, and longer parted hair. Some have thinner, sparser hair on certain parts of their bodies. The ancestors of the genus Pan broke from the human line approximately 8 million years ago, and bonobos split from the standard chimpanzee line approximately 2 million years ago, according to research findings published in 2017 by researchers at George Washington University. According to primatologist Fran Dewell, bonobos possess kindness, patience, empathy, compassion, and sensitivity, and are referred to as a gynocracy, that is, bonobo society. While bonobos exhibit more sexual behavior in a broader range of partnerships than chimpanzees, primatologists who have examined bonobos in the wild have recorded a wide range of behaviors, including aggressive and more cyclical sexual behavior. Tetsuro Furiuchi's examination of female bonding in wild bonobos emphasizes female sexuality and demonstrates how female bonobos spend significantly more time in ovulation than female chimpanzees. These apes have more sex, more often, and in more ways than any other primate on the planet. Their sexual contact is so frequent that Brian Hare refers to it as the bonobo handshake. According to some primatologists, Dewell's studies only capture the behavior of captive bonobos. Wild bonobos exhibit aggression levels more akin to those of chimpanzees. Dewell has reported that the temperamental difference between chimpanzees and bonobos seen in captivity is significant since it accounts for environmental influences. The two species exhibit very different behaviors even when housed in the same surroundings. Additionally, a 2014 study discovered that bonobos, especially eastern chimpanzees, are less violent than chimpanzees. The authors contended that ecological considerations were the leading cause of the relative calm that western chimpanzees and bonobos enjoy. In the same scenario, bonobos are less effective in alerting one another to danger than chimpanzees. Yet on April 12, 2024, scientists revealed that bonobos exhibit more violent behavior than previously believed. The matriarchal social structure of bonobos sets them apart from other apes. Some people describe their power structure as gender balanced due to the significant overlap between the male and female hierarchies. Communities of bonobos roam a vast area and do not have a set territory. In contrast to chimpanzees, males do not benefit from forming alliances with other males or from protecting a home range because of the independence of the females and the evenly dispersed food in their environment. Compared to female chimpanzees, bonobos have sharper teeth, contributing to their social prestige. While a male bonobo is dominant over a female in an intimate relationship, socially linked females may be co-dominant or dominant over males, even to the point where females have converted males into mating with them, depending on the community. Even though bonobos are frequently referred to as matriarchal and females predominate in every community, certain males will rise to a high rank and serve as the alpha. Female coalition partners frequently take the lead in organizing the group's movements. These males might rank higher than many of the group's female members. In addition to the other males, a few males warn the group of potential dangers, shielding them from pythons and leopards. Males tolerate babies and juveniles, and aggressive interactions between them are uncommon. A male's status is determined by his mother's rank. The mother-son relationship is one that frequently endures a lifetime. Although there are social hierarchies, and the offspring of a high-ranking female may outrank a ranking female, rank is not as important in these societies as in other primate cultures. Positive and affiliative relationships are shared across various populations, and bonobos are not a territorial species. It has also been discovered that female bonobos are raising children from outside their established community. Even though bonobos are generally less violent than chimpanzees, and are not known to kill one another, Bonobos have never been observed to kill each other. The same can't be said of chimpanzees or humans for that matter. Antagonism is nonetheless less present in this species. Male bonobos compete fiercely with one another, and high-ranking males gain more mating opportunities than low-ranking ones. Even though females dominate males and only mate with males who do not show violence toward them, male bonobos have a more significant size difference than female chimpanzees because they do not establish alliances. This reduces their motivation to back down in a conflict for access to females. Male bonobos have been known to attack one another, causing severe wounds such as ripped ears, broken eyes, and missing fingers when a more prominent male is surrounded and outnumbered by a female mob. Several of these injuries may also happen when the male threatens the higher-ranking females and gets hurt by them. Male bonobos cannot identify which of their offspring are theirs due to the promiscuous mating habits of females. Because of this, the mothers of bonobos are responsible for providing all parental care. Nonetheless, bonobos have somewhat polygamous tendencies compared to chimpanzees. Chimpanzees with high-ranking males have a higher rate of successful reproduction than low-ranking males. Female bonobos have stronger sexual preferences and the ability to reject unwanted males, which is advantageous for female bonding.